Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Lisa Richardson.
And I'm your host, Annalisa Itkor.
And today we're in studio and we're going to be learning all about the wonderful services provided and offered by the DayBreak Adult Care.
And we have two fantastic guests bringing their wealth of wisdom. First up, we'll have Kara Flanders. She is Director of Business Development.
We'll also be talking with Kaylee Gardner, the Director of Community Relations.
So stick around. This is perfect timing for the holidays. Learn all about parent care here on 843 TV,
where communities come to speak.
843 TV, where the Low Country comes to speak.
Where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
TV,
where communities come to speak.
Welcome to a brand new episode of 843 TV. Now we are delighted to welcome two lovely ladies today. We've got Kaylee Gardner. She is the Community Relations Director for DayBreak Adult Care Services, as well as Kara Flanders, who is the Director of Business Development. Now,
we're excited to have you.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Very excited to be here.
First and foremost, now we feel like we're old friends because we've met a couple of you before, but a lot of these folks don't even know what DayBreak is all about. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about the services you offer.
Well, we offer an array of services. So we focus on activities of daily living, like dressing, bathing, toileting, eating. But I think one of the things that's great about DayBreak is that we tailor to each individual family because everybody has different needs.
That's right.
So we come in and do a home assessment, find out what the needs of the client are and what the family's needs are. You know, so I see us as being a safety net, you know,
wonderful.
For the clients and the family.
I love the word that you used there, tailoring to each person's need and safety net. It's a helpful time and a challenging time in the life of a family. So there's lots to share, but what is the DayBreak difference? Would you share with us about that, Kaylee?
Yes, there are a few things. Number one, I would say we are locally owned, so we're not a franchise. One owner, Coker Day, started it in Columbia, South Carolina, actually. He has 4 locations. We're the newest, but we've still been here for 4 years. So quite some time, locally owned. It's important. If they want to reach out to the owner, he's available and he's close by.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we have to say, this is like our favorite thing. We walked in today and we went the red shoes, which is such a great identifier for your company.
Yes.
Tell us why, because I think it's a great story.
So, you know, there's no place like home. When you see the red shoes, what do you think? Everybody thinks there's no place like home. You think Wizard of Oz, that's the first thing that comes to mind, and we are in, you know, home care. So our job is to really keep everybody at home for as long as, you know, they're able to do so.
Or wherever their home is.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily, yes, we want to keep them in their home, but if that's a safety concern for families or for clients, we can help them in an assisted living facility.
Their new home.
Yes, their new home. Or a skilled facility. And we can even stay with them in the hospital so that the family can get some rest.
Okay, so you don't just service them in the home, but you go wherever the need is.
Yes.
That's great. Well, we talked a little bit about the different services. Let's get into a little bit more detail. What do you do in the home? How do you assess everything?
Well, first and foremost, I like to go in and just look at the surroundings, look at what their regular day looks like, because that's our goal. We want to have them have normal for them. So you go in and assess. We also want to know what's their health history, because as I said, we're eyes and ears for a spouse, the client, or for a family that maybe doesn't even live close by. So we want to know what is expected of our caregivers and how we can be most effective in helping them maintain independence.
I think it's a big need in this area where there are family members who don't have people nearby. That is a big concern,
Yes.
and I'm sure a huge help to those who are far away and out of town.
It is. It is. You know, we communicate with those folks that don't live here. We want them to know how things are going. Our caregivers can even go to doctor's appointments. Be that extra set of ears, and then discuss it back with the client or the family, or, you know, however. We're there to provide whatever need arises, and kind of grow with the client, you know.
What is the process? You know, so let's say I have an aging parent that I'm concerned about either being on their own, they need that assistance. How do I get started? I mean, is it just picking up the phone? Is it as simple as that? I mean, what's that whole process like?
Yes, it can be. They can call us, or they can submit kind of like a submittal form online. Either way, we're usually able to get to them to do a free consultation within an hour or two. So if they would like to schedule a couple days out, they can do that too, but we usually make ourselves available at that time of that phone call. If they would like a free consultation, we'd love to come out and talk with them and see when we need to get services started to help them out.
And one thing I would like to mention is I have gone through this with my father. So I do have that in common with people, especially children. But I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
That's okay.
You can pick it up again.
Okay,
Do you want to
so-
pick up with that question?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right. So just pick up with your train of thought.
What was it?
That
You've
have
gone
something
through
in
with your
common.
father.
So one thing I would like to mention is learn about the services available in your community before you need them. Don't make an impulsive decision. We want you to know. I've been through this with my father, and one thing my brother said is, my goodness, had you not been in this, I'd have been lost. And that's what we're here for, to help people navigate this healthcare system that's so crazy. And again, just be a safety net.
And there are so many choices in our area alone that there can be overwhelming for caregivers to decide where to go.
Yes,
It's true.
And so start early. So that phone call, we can be there in an hour, but we can also, be there whenever's convenient for you, even if you're not expecting to need our help for months.
And I would also say that we really try to match up a caregiver.
Definitely.
You read my mind.
Yes.
You absolutely read my mind. I was just going to say, when you come out and meet, are you looking at that
Absolutely.
man or woman and saying, I think I've got the perfect person
Exactly.
for you,
Yes.
So once we've done that home assessment, we take the information back, we create a care plan that states what's going on right now, how we're going to help them. Those are updated on a regular basis as needs change. So yes, we want to have a good connection. There has to be a level of trust when you come in and offer these services to clients.
That's great.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that and do some fun exercises
Yes.
coming up. So you all stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV. We're in studio today and we're talking with the lovely ladies from the DayBreak Adult Care Services. And we're going to have a little fun in this segment. We're going to be talking about what the folks at home can do, those that you're caring for some exercises. But Kara, first of all, share with us your background. You have a degree in exercise physiology.
I do. I have a degree in exercise physiology. I also have done a lot of aquatic exercises over time. And so I'm a firm believer of we need to use it or lose it. But I do want to mention that everybody should speak to their doctor before they begin exercising, because exercise, we want it to be good for them, not painful. So we want to make sure that we're along those lines.
Yes.
So if, one of your clients, while they're at home, what are some of the things they can do while they're in their seat or while they're in their chair to help out physically?
Right. So I like to say, any commercial break, it's time to move.
That's perfect.
Okay,
That's
so
great.
I'm going to give you a break. If you can go out and exercise or you have physical therapy, that's wonderful. But when those people leave, we've got to maintain this, or we're going to wind up right back in the same situation that got us to the hospital or an accident or something.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got some chairs here. What are we going to do?
We do. Now, some exercises can be done standing and some can be sitting. So we're going to start with the standing, okay? And I always say the big muscles are the muscles that we use to ambulate.
Yes.
Okay, and then the smaller muscles are more for fine motor skills. If a person uses a walker, they still have to have that upper body strength. So we need to do both. So if it's capable, if it's possible, we're going to start with this little squat. Okay. So holding on the back of the chair,
right.
feet shoulder width apart, toes tipped just slightly outward. And the biggest thing that I find is that people want to squat forward. We don't want to do that. That's hard on our knees. So the first thing, I want everybody to act like they've got a chair behind them. So you're going to just squat down and up. You might have some snaps and crackles, but that's okay. And then down and up. And I would recommend doing these. If you can do it for a 30-second commercial, that's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
But do what you can. Start where you are and then move. Okay, so the other thing is we have ab and adductors. Okay, so you can take your leg and take it out to the side, and I don't want you to cheat by having your toe up. We want to have our toes pointing to the TV and down. Okay, and then you can actually cross your body.
Oh, there we go.
That may be contraindicated for somebody that's had a hip replacement. So that's one thing I would ask.
Yes.
I would ask. And then let's move to doing a few things.
All right, here. All right, sure.
And I didn't mention you can also kick back.
Oh, sure.
Which works your glutes. So here we're going to do the front. If you're sitting in a chair, you want to be to the end. Okay, back straight, tummy's tight, and come up, hold. Okay, this works the front of your leg. Okay,
Look at this.
And then
We're
down.
by the way.
And then up and down. Good. And if you can hold it, hold up and do some ankle pumps.
All right.
Okay, that's great. Now that commercial has ended, and we do need to do some upper body stuff. Okay, so I always like to think, how does a joint move? Any way the joint moves, you can do an exercise, okay? So even simple as, hands out, squeeze in, out, and in. Think about how many people have a hard time opening jars. Okay, if you've got little balls, you see the stress balls?
Yeah.
Those are great. Sit them right by your chair and do that a little bit.
And you don't think to exercise your hands, but gosh, that's
Right.
It
important.
does, yes. And then
Use your
your
hands for a lot
wrist,
of
up and
things.
down.
Oh, yeah, that's
up and
good.
down.
I like that.
Okay, now this is going to be interesting because we don't want to hit each other, but you do want to, go up and down
I like that.
and up and down. And you can do this just using your weight. But if you grab a can of peas or a can of tomatoes,
Corn.
whatever that is 1 pound.
Yeah,
Okay.
great idea.
And if you're a little bit stronger, go to get a little hand weights, whatever's comfortable. And again, we want to work through a comfortable range of motion. Yes. If you can have your hands here, this typically is a little harder for people that have shoulder issues, but you push up and down, up and down, up and down, and then put your arm out. We're going to be like we've got a little chicken wing, okay? You go out and down.
Oh, okay.
Out
Think
and
about that.
down. Yeah,
Using that
right.
muscle.
Okay, now continuing, we move to the elbows and we go up and then push down because that gets the back of your arms. Okay, up and push down, up and push down. And if you are able, even shoulder shrugs.
Oh, that just feels good.
And that stretches out.
And
that
if your shoulders are okay, you can do full arm circles. Full, because we need to maintain strength and we need to maintain
Flexibility.
and range of motion.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to move our body every way that we can some of these things can also be done in bed. If somebody can't hold up and hold for a couple seconds, lay in the bed and squeeze those muscles. Okay? So you can do movement or you can do isometric, which means that you're not moving. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Well, these are great not just for commercials, but anytime, like you said. It could be during the show or just as you're got nothing else to do, or as you're talking on the phone, maybe if it's workable. So
Doing crosswords.
and you know, an interesting thing is we have found, we used to think you had to do exercise all at one time, but now we know bursts of exercise are just as beneficial.
absolutely. Well, this is some great stuff, and we have more coming up, so stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV.
Welcome back to 843 TV. Once again, we have Kaylee and Kara with us from DayBreak Adult Care Services.
Such a nice ring to that, by the way.
I
Isn't
know,
Kate?
it is kind of like a girls group. So, you know, here I am, a daughter or a son who is trying to decide if it's that time, if I need to bring in out-of-home care. When does that little bell go off in your head where it's that time?
Sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And
I imagine you don't want to wait for injury.
certainly, that's, you know, if in fact a person has had a fall, or maybe their memory is sliding just a little bit, that's when we need to go, because why wait until there's an injury? And when we come in and we're assessing the home, we've got a unique perspective here that the physicians don't get. So then we are an advocate for this person if we need to bring in other services along with DayBreak. So definitely don't wait until there's an injury. Don't wait until there's a hospitalization.
Right. I mean, I would imagine too, like if you're noticing that they're continually forgetting medications
Yes.
or confusing medications, I would think that that would be a good indicator as well.
Yes, things that are out of the ordinary.
We talked earlier about the DayBreak difference.
Yes.
Share with us about your team, which is a big part of that.
Yes, so as a whole, we are a team. Myself or Cheryl would come out for a consultation, and then like she talked about, we would choose caregivers that would be a great match. And I have to say, our caregivers are truly top-notch. The owner and all of us are just very strict with who we bring on our team.
Well, that's
honestly,
good.
quite
Yeah.
frankly.
I think people would be happy to hear that.
Yes. You know, they are licensed, bonded. They are our employees, so they're not contract employees. They are drug tested, background checks. They have to have a lot of experience and referrals. So, you know, a lot of our clients consider them friends, and so it's important that we choose wisely when we're building our team.
Absolutely.
That's really terrific.
Yeah.
And of course, families sharing with families about the experience they have with you will go a long way
Exactly.
in the end for everybody involved.
Now, we had a nice little demonstration of what you offer in terms of encouraging the physical life. What other types of things do you do? What other services do you offer?
Well, we want to focus on the physical, and that's the activities of daily living. But then second, we want to make sure that they are emotionally, that we understand that they have physical, emotional, spiritual, and what's the other one?
Intellectual?
Well, absolutely, we do
Yes,
need
exactly.
intellectual
Because, you know, I
stimulation.
mean, I hate to say it, but I know there are circumstances out there where a caregiver will come over and just like, you know, that babysitter that will park a child in front of the television.
Right,
I don't
right.
want my
No.
parent just parked in front of the TV all day. I want them to
Stimulated.
read or be read to or, you know, whatever.
And that's something we want them to do as much as they can do. So if they can go grocery shopping, we'd love to do that. Take them to church on Sunday if they need that assistance. Whatever we can do, it's not just the house. We want them to stay involved with their community, with friends. If they wanted to have people over, even the caregiver can help, you know, make some hors d'oeuvres, coffee, whatever.
Kind of like a personal assistant in a
is.
sense.
Yeah,
It is.
Go to the movies. You know, we really want to keep
Yes.
what they love alive and, you know, keep it going for them.
Because truthfully, all of those other things impacts your physical
Yes.
wellness. So
Yes.
if you're
Without a doubt.
emotionally and spiritually
Yes.
sound, then the rest will
Well, it's
follow
that,
suit.
the whole thing, and I love it that doctors are really getting on board with this, use it or lose it, and that isn't just your body.
Right.
It's your mind and your heart as well,
Yes.
so.
It is. I heard a staggering statistic just recently that 1 in 3 of people over 80 have some form of dementia. And that's
I
something-
mean, I hate to say, but that doesn't totally surprise me,
Right.
but I do think that often goes unaddressed.
Right.
and the Southeast is very high as compared to the rest of the nation.
Interesting.
Yep.
You mentioned 80. Is it true our time in here is people's lifespans seem to be going into those 80s and even 90s. So
Yes,
the term
absolutely.
of care, in a sense, could be a decade or more.
And I mean, I have many peers whose parents who are in their 90s still living on their own in their home, which is great, but
Yeah.
that's where something like you, it
We would
gives
come in.
us peace of mind.
And sometimes people don't need us long term. Maybe they've had a hospital stay.
Exactly.
And they're having home health, but they need somebody that's going to be there longer.
Right.
And just provide the assistance that they need so that they can go home and not turn around and go right back to the hospital.
Sure.
Briefly, how do you guys handle when a family isn't local? If that family isn't close by, how do you handle that?
Well, for here, that's very common. We see that a lot, and if they're involved, which usually they are, we will have many phone conversations with them. We keep them in the loop. The client comes to us, and that's their desire. We definitely make that happen. So it's pretty seamless, to be honest. I feel like a lot of the long distance family members feel like they're not as long distance. We kind of make it seem like we bridge that gap.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, we're heading into the holidays. And families come in and they see the difference from their last visit. And they say, oh my goodness, so we're very busy around the holidays.
Yes.
Because that's when the families actually get to see what's going on with mom and dad.
And reach out.
That's fantastic.
Well, we've learned a lot, and
Yes.
we hope that our audience has learned a lot today, and will inquire and before it's a time of need and check out DayBreak.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Please
Thank
give
you.
us a call.
Thanks for being
Absolutely.
here.
Well, thank you for being
Oh.
here, and thank
Thank you for having
being
us.
here
Thank
and
you
joining
for
us for
watching.
another episode of 843 TV.
Where communities come to speak.